The story begins one afternoon when a tired woman is driving home from a desolate place with her 2 daughters. Her name was Pauline. Her face wasn't sad, but time had replaced the wrinkles with a sternness. Sitting in the back seat were her daughters, Beth, a quiet, engrossed in her books, and Vera, a sharp, outspoken and angry woman. The wind was blowing in through the car window, and Beth was reading a horror book by H.P. Lovecraft. Vera teased her, saying, "Stop reading this nonsense, and that scary things don't really happen." The road outside was completely deserted, but then an old candy van overtakes their car. The driver smiles, but the smile isn't warm, but strangely cold. Vera gives him the middle finger, a rebellious teenager's expression. Pauline doesn't scold them. She just takes a deep breath and moves on. The car stops at an old general store. Pauline gets in and sees a newspaper headline. The perpetrators of violent attacks against teens are still at large. She tickles for a moment, then shakes herself up and pays. She comes out and sees the candy van parked next to the store. A cold chill sends chills down her spine, but she doesn't say anything. Arriving home, Vera finds an old mirror. Behind it lies a doll. With terrifying staring eyes, Vera is terrified, but Beth comforts her. "It is just a toll," she says. But everything in that house wasn't just a thing. There was silence in every corner, and that silence held a story. As night falls, the 2 sisters go upstairs. Pauline is downstairs. Just then, the door breaks open. A giant man bursts in and attacks Pauline. Everything happens suddenly. Screams, struggles, blood. Vera and Beth are upstairs and are terrified by the sound. Vera runs, but the man grabs her and drags her into the basement. Just then, a woman arrives. Scary makeup on her face, a strange dance in her gait, and a madness in her voice. "I just want to play with dolls," she says. But this game isn't innocent. It is a game filled with cruelty. The man leaves Beth in the basement and drags Vera away. Beth tries to escape, but the mad woman attacks her. Then Pauline, who hasn't died yet, attacks the woman with her broken body as if a mother's spirit has awakened. Pauline knocks her out and tells Beth to run. But Beth can't escape. The man returns, grabs Beth, and brings her to Vera in the basement. Pauline fights back, risking her life. She kills both the monsters one by one, and then darkness falls, the scene cuts. Beth's eyes open. Now she is a renowned author, married with 1 child, and her book, Incident in Ghostland, has recently become a bestseller. But then she gets a call in the middle of the night. In a trembling voice, Vera calls out for help. Beth's past resurfaces, and this is where the real fear begins. In the stillness of the night, when Beth arrives at her old house to visit her mother and sister, even the air feels strange. The house stands as if time has refused to touch it. The door opens. Pauline stands before her, but she no longer has the strength she once had. Her face is pale, her eyes a sea of exhaustion and pain. Beth embraces her, and then her gaze falls on Baseman, from whom a soft sob comes. Pauline says, "Vera isn't the same anymore. She is broken since that night. I can't leave her alone." She sees Vera chained in the basement. Beth's heart trembles. Her sister's eyes are swollen shut, her face blue, as if every day, every night, she has to endure something forever. Vera, trembling, tells Beth, "They'll come again, they'll kill me, please don't go." Beth's breathing begins to stop. She realizes that Vera's past hasn't left her. At night, Beth hears strange noises. When she checks the hiding place behind the mirror, she finds the same old doll, and then someone pulls it back. But it was just a dream. Her eyes open, but the words, "Help me," are written on the wall. Beth, terrified, goes to the basement and finds Vera in a distraught state with fresh bruises on her body. Beth panics. Then she hears the sound of a truck. She runs outside but sees nothing, only silence. That night, Pauline drinks too much. Beth takes care of her, but then she finds a mirror in the house with "help" written on it in blood. Beth's heart sinks. She goes back to the basement. She tries to free Vera, but the chains won't budge. Then the door closes automatically and Vera's screams echo inside. Beth screams and knocks, but in vain. After a few moments, silence falls. Beth picks up Pauline, but she is unconscious. The basement door opens again and Vera emerges. She is not normal, as if possessed by someone else. Her fingers break one by one. The screams tear at her humanity. Beth runs. She tells Pauline to call an ambulance. Pauline goes, but it is too late. Beth returns to Vera, but she is not there. Just then, a voice comes from the basement. Now it is your turn. The giant man appears again. But this isn't a dream. Beth's eyes open. Terrified, she hides in her room. When she wakes in the morning, she sees herself in the mirror. Her face bears the same marks as Vera's. Beth screams, "Is all this really happening? Is this true, or am I going crazy?" She searches for her mother, but Pauline is missing. The basement door is now open, and Beth goes there alone. The story is becoming more terrifying than reality. The barrier between dreams and reality is crumbling. Beth now knows she must save not only her sister, but herself. But the question is there still time left, or is it too late? The house was no longer just a brick and stone structure. It had become a prison. Beth's veins were filled with fear, not a determination. She had to get Vera out of this hell, no matter what. As she reaches the basement, Beth feels a strange silence. Then a faint voice comes from behind the door. "They're coming, hide." Beth holds her breath and hides in the space behind the mirror, and just then the same mad lady enters. Her face is even more distorted. There is a strange hunger in her eyes. She stares around. Then she goes to a corner of the basement and pulls Vera out. Beth's bearing it has become unbearable. She comes out and pounces on the woman, screaming like a madwoman. But then the huge man, whose presence would make time stand still, arrives. He grabs Beth, but Beth is no longer the frightened girl she once was. She takes out her hair clip and stabs him in the shoulder. The man writhes as if all his dolls are staring at him. Beth seizes the opportunity and leaves and goes to open the door. But just then, the woman is at the door. She runs inside in panic. The same typewriter she once used to write stories has now become a weapon. Beth picks it up and strikes the man. He falls unconscious. Beth breaks down the door, and as she peeks out the broken window, the woman follows. But Beth is no longer afraid to run. She goes to Vera again, freeing her from the binds. The two look at each other. Just one thing in her eyes, no more. As she starts to leave, the lady appears again. But this time, she can't see them. Hearing a huge man's voice from behind, she leaves. Beth and Vera run into the woods. The dark, rustling bushes and the breaking breaths of night have become their ordeal. But finally, they spot a police van. She screams, runs, and the van stops. 2 police officers entice them inside, give them water, and ask, "What happened there?" Beth says in a trembling voice, "Those people would have killed us if we had stayed." The police officer calls the control room. "Check that old house." But before anything else can happen, the same crazy lady arrives. She attacks swiftly, killing both the policemen. Screams, gunfire, and then silence. Beth and Vera are again bundled into the truck and taken away. Now both are almost broken, but then Beth is lost again in her dream world. She is now at a party as the famous writer H.P. Lovecraft is standing in front of her, the same man she was afraid of as a child. Then she sees Vara at the party. Beth quietly runs behind a door, screaming. She opens the door, and Pauline comes in from behind. She says, "Wait, this is all a game in your mind." Beth's eyes open. Now she knows that if she wants to save her sister, she must live in reality, not in a dream. She attacks with all her might the man who was about to kill her. Just then, a shot is fired. The police have arrived, the same ones whose colleagues made the call earlier. The man falls. The police officer tells the woman to drop her weapon, but she lunges, and the police shoot her too. Now everything is quiet. The ambulance has arrived. Vera and Beth are taken out. Beth looks out the window to see her mother standing there, smiling and pointing to the broken typewriter. The doctor asks, "Do you like sports?" Beth smiles. Her eyes fill with tears. She says, "I like writing stories." But the real question remains, did she really escape, or was it all part of a story she'd created? Because the window she broke was now intact, and life is sometimes even scary.